Well, I remember the concept being discussed, gosh, long ago, back when Ford made its big investment in the Texas FFA. They were a funding sponsor for the Ag Center, or the Leadership Center in Austin, but a part of that contribution was their decision to invest in leadership development. So it took a few years for that to come together, but I've seen basically the Ford Leadership Scholars program from idea to inception to now, I guess, what, 4 or 5 classes of scholars.
As we began discussion about the partnership and developing the relationship with Texas Ford Dealers and Ford Motor Company and the Texas FFA, we wanted to look at something, a unique partnership. We wanted a unique partnership beyond just a sponsorship. And so the Ford Leadership Development Program and Scholarship Program is one that was really interested not only the FFA Association, but interested all the folks that were involved in the discussion with Ford Motor Company and the Ford dealers.
We began to have early conversations about that really about 2007. I mean, we had kind of kicked it around. We had kind of talked around it, chewed around the edges of that thing for a little bit of time, but there came a point in time when I knew that we needed to go ahead and to begin to actually begin to put flesh on the skeleton.
Back on the collaborative effort and discussions between the Texas FFA Foundation, the Texas FFA Association, Texas Ford Dealers, and Ford Motor Company, actually the truck division, marketing division nationally. It was the overall excitement and vision of not only creating a partnership that would help support the efforts of the Texas FFA Association and benefit the students in the state of Texas, but it really gave us an opportunity to realize that we were going to truly make a difference in many of the young people's lives and future leaders in America for currently and in the future.
I think programs come as a result of needs, just like good ideas. And I think that when you have a good idea or a program need, I think you want to try to craft an execution that is sustainable. And so I would say that the real success of a program is its ability to sustain and continue to be nimble enough to meet the needs as the needs of that specific program or project change.
What we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that we had the students in the process that could gain the most out of it. In our experience, and it's not to be critical of the officer process, but at least we knew at that time is that people pursued FFA offices for a wide variety of reasons, and sometimes is that they pursued office to put on scholarship applications and things like that, and so that's not who we were looking for. The other thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to create a very much a hands-on experience. And the other thing that we wanted to do is we wanted for students to understand the idea of leadership and how that manifested itself in its various forms.
And I think that the Ford Leadership Scholars Program is one of those programs that really make you feel good, because not only are you developing the leadership skills of a young person, but you're also helping that young person be the bridge to solutions in community needs. And I think that is a very unique place for a donor and a stakeholder to be. So from the foundation's perspective, it really is an honor to work with Texas Ford Dealers, Ford Division, and the Texas FFA in not only solving community needs, but also empowering people that will take those same skills into their college and into adult careers. That's a real plus for this program.
call to Mitchell, and I don't believe, it'd been a very long time since I'd heard somebody talk about a program and the students involved with such passion as Mitchell. I'd heard his name before, but that first conversation is one that I'll remember, because there's really not much I needed to know after that, because if it was that important to him, it's definitely something that I wanted to be involved in.
I was very interested. It was intriguing to me, the discussion that I'd heard in the vision for the Ford Leadership Scholar Program. So I wanted to be a part of it from the very beginning.
They have great potential, but what we've got to do through this program is give them experiences so that their skills can be developed, so that they can conceive that they can identify what needs to be done. They can conceive a plan for accomplishing the task. They can rally the troops, find the money, and get the job done.
And he said, well, it's different than anything that we've done before. He said, it looks different, it feels different, it has different outcomes, and we're looking for somebody who can really work on these students' ability to manage a project.
What we discovered is that training really had to focus more on the project and that next step in that whole process, versus really thinking about leadership in its very, very broadest terms.
I said I'd like to work with Alyssa Nolan, so I brought her in. We started to plan it together. She had a little bit of perspective that I didn't have, and we put together a pretty robust training regimen. And the way that we did it is I had a pretty specific perspective, in that I'd been through Marine Corps training, and the U.S. Marine Corps, they've been producing officers since 1775, so they had about 236 years of history running training programs at that point. And Alyssa and I we took that same model and kind of developed it in a similar fashion with the Ford Scholars.
We wanted to do something that was different, something that was innovative. Everyone's been involved in FFA organizations in the past. There's always some community service aspect of it, but they don't really take kids out of their comfort zone. So what we wanted to do is give experiences to these Ford Leadership Scholars that they necessarily wouldn't go through in their hometowns. Take them around the state of Texas, have them meet with a city, state, local governments, have them experience things that were connected to agriculture, but a little out of the box and a little more innovative. So we really wanted to make it our own, but still have that community service connection, so that they could go back to their home communities and do something that's innovative and out of the box that can stand for a long time.
So the first 2 days were a series of challenges to break down the existing skill sets. The next 3 days were building them back up. Building them up compared to a specific set of competencies that we knew that they had to have to be successful in their project management. And then the last 2 days was putting it all together, allowing them some creative freedom to perform and deliver projects, and then just fine-tuning the skill sets as they were intended to be developed.
The training is very intense. That's probably what most people would say about it. It's very on the go. You don't sleep a lot. You learn a lot about how you cope with stress, but you also get to form with other individuals who are highly talented and motivated to succeed in an environment that is high stakes. They're putting us in front of sponsors that most FFA members and even state officers wouldn't have the access to, and it's up to us to make not only a good impression, but to impress them and let them know that we are FFA and that we do stand for leadership and excellence in everything that we do, and really model that through every interaction, from the first handshake to the way that we end our presentations and accept critiquing. It really is about how we can put the image of success and personal excellence before our sponsors.
Right whenever I got with the group of my other fellow scholars, I immediately knew this was a great group to be involved in. We had a lot of fun right from the first day. And I think the best part of that, it kind of culminated when we were at Mr. Dale's ranch. We had a great time there at the 4th of July, and we had really bonded a lot at that point, and it kind of was the build-up for what we were working toward, and then for the remainder of the week, it kind of solidified the bond that we had created and the leadership skills we were able to develop together.
Every time we would form as a team, we would have to figure out the kind of presenters and the kind of, potential that we had and what we wanted to put forward. So that was really cool. We got to work with some really highly qualified individuals and meet other FFA members who were also really interested in promoting leadership and serving their home communities.
And I think a real turning point came in 2014, when we brought in Lauren Ty. Lauren is an accomplished professional in her own right in the world of branding, marketing, communications, in all things philanthropic management, and she just delivered an entirely different level of professional perspective for that program and what the real world, business and industry, expected out of individuals, not students, but professionals that come and make a pitch. And in the entire 360-degree communications platform that she introduced to them, and as well as their personalities and how to interject those into, working in a group setting, it's been phenomenal. So Lauren and Captain Brian Ty and myself, it's been a great last 3 years as we've worked on this, and we've all had the same feeling that I shared with them my first trip, is we cannot be more excited and more proud to have been involved with this program.
Finishing a job that you start is kind of fundamental, and what my perspective is on these young people is they have great potential. These young men and women have the intelligence and the work ethic and the people skills that they can go and accomplish great things.
Individually, hitting the ground running and trying to put together a project that I could be proud of and that I could stand behind and say that I used my time well and my status as a Ford Scholar well, it really just taught me what I was capable of and what a small group of like-minded people could do.
My project is creating a website for our county fair, and that seems kind of silly that we don't have a website, but we didn't. And that's why I felt like it was such a need, because I really took home the aspect of it being a sustainable project, something that could last for years and years and years and continue to grow. And I feel that a website was a perfect opportunity for that.
Sort of the inspiration for my project was to help the horticulture class that we teach through the ag program, to help give them an area and a space where they can store materials, where they can pick the vegetables and then wash it off, and it can serve as a learning space. But also, when we have elementary and middle school kids that come out to the farm and they tour the facilities, that they can come by this pavilion, by this learning center, right next to the ag farm. It's a place of shade, it's a place of learning.
My original intention was to train a service dog to come into elementary schools and help students who are struggling learning how to read. So I hit some significant roadblocks in my community as far as schools actually allowing me to bring in a dog and the timeline that we have to complete the project. So that really taught me a lot about, honestly, how not to give up and how just because it doesn't look the way that you thought it would doesn't mean you're not still making a difference. So instead, I changed the scope of my program into more of a Phase A, Phase B kind of model, and instead grabbed some interested students from my chapter who cared about kids and cared about literacy and started going to the elementary school every day after school and reading with students.
So I knew that I wanted to increase involvement on any sort of level at my school, so I put together a leadership conference. And this leadership conference involved community leaders, it involved FFA leaders, and other people that they could model after. And the whole purpose of the conference was how to get involved in your community. It could be within a school organization, it could be in some other organization at a larger level. But the whole conference's purpose was the same: serve others purpose.
Walked in with hardly any resources, but had a complete and total plan of how I was going to restore this park. From pouring a new slab for the basketball court to replacing some of the equipment, putting in plants and replacing swings. We had it all down to a T, a price tag attached and all. After that city council meeting, the city manager wrote me a note and he handed it to me, and I didn't read it till I got outside, but it said, "I'm with you, call me whenever you need, and I'll be there for you."
And I feel like because of my project planning and the conference building and all the skills I developed as a Ford Scholar, I was able to execute that program here and have that large success, work with a large budget, and work with a wide range of people.
I can't even begin to explain what it was like to have a city rally behind you. It started off where everyone was kind of skeptical, but then after I started getting into it and showing people that I was dedicated and I was going to do it with or without them, the whole town just erupted, and I sold so many signs and raised so much money. And the day, it was November 6th, was the day that we restored Foley Park. And there's still to this day, there are half of those people that showed up that day that I don't know who they were. They heard about it, wanted to participate, and I mean, there was 50 people there to help restore the park. And it was definitely one of the highlights of my life, for sure, to see that happen.
I think that the program is developing because as we can, like every good program that is nimble and looking to improve, we are zeroing in on what skill sets help those students make the transitions both to their college and into their adult careers.
That we wanted to, pair them with someone who could mentor and guide and coach those young people as they executed a project. The idea of this was then is that take everything that you've learned and then actually apply it in executing a major project.
Mentorship is one of the great components of the program. So what we're really trying to accomplish with this program is to identify young people with skills, with potential, and then we're trying to give them guidance on how to develop those skills so that they can become servant leaders in their communities. So if a young person has someone that can coach them up and give them direction and help them see what can be accomplished when they know what to do and how to do it, then really the sky's the limit.
Margie is still to this day one of my biggest mentors. I think now that she is more of a life mentor to me than she was when I was a scholar. She's truly invested in me and has been there for me through job changes, graduating college, graduating high school, and has definitely been someone who's meant a lot to me.
I think my proudest moment as a Ford Leadership Scholar is the moment when I saw all of our hard work come to fruition. We had our banquet at the Capitol in Austin, Texas, and getting to walk down the hall and see everybody's projects set up and get to talk with everybody and really see all the hard work that I'd seen on Google Docs with our project submissions, seeing it all come to fruition and see the impact that everybody had on their communities, and just being there in the moment was definitely my proudest moment as a Ford Leadership Scholar.
I am so impressed every year walking around looking at the various projects that these kids at this point, young adults soon, and leaders of our future, what they've put together in such a short period of time.
Their community service projects are still standing in their communities, and I think that that is commendable. In my job now, working at the Department of Ag, I get to deal with these types of things on a daily basis in rural towns, and seeing what these kids have done and that they're continuing to serve and be involved in agriculture makes me definitely the most proud.
Ford Scholars understand what it's like to take initiative and what it is to work on a team, and not just as a team, as people who are producing a result and are all just kind of communally taking ownership of it, but as a group of individuals who do have a common goal and who are willing to utilize their talents and work synergistically to achieve that result, and then evaluate it and decide how we can get better results next time.
When a young person realizes that that type of accomplishment is in their wheelhouse and that they can do it, then they can believe they can accomplish anything. And if we can get these scholars, and frankly, our state officers, our area officers, and all the young men and women that come up through Texas FFA to that point, then we've got an army of doers and an army of people that can accomplish great things.
When you look back at what the vision was for the Ford Leadership Scholars Program, it's been very rewarding, and I'm very proud to have been involved with it and still continue to be involved with it, because I would tell you that it's exceeded even my wildest expectations.
If you're looking to be a genuine, developed student leader, then the Texas FFA Ford Leadership Scholar Program is exactly what you should be interested in. There's no other program like it that truly develops student leaders who desire to make a difference in the world around them. And so if that's what you're looking for, anything in that realm, then the Ford Scholars Program is for you.
Finding programs like this is not easy to do because it absolutely epitomizes what we would like to see with the youth of America. These are kids that are not only focused on FFA, it's the other things that they do within their community, when the things that they're doing socially and academically. These are great kids.
I can say full-heartedly that is the best leadership training that I've been a part of, and I think I can speak on behalf of the Ford Scholars that have come before us because it's really helped develop, that heart of service that we all as FFA members possess, but really developing those leadership skills that you just can't find with any other leadership continuum that Texas FFA has offered has been critical in developing the young men that Jake and I and the rest of Ford Scholars are today.
I guess one of the things that I personally appreciate about this program is I appreciate the fact that there are 10 kids out there that are being empowered and they learn about the importance of community service. And who's to say that maybe William or Liam, maybe one day they're not a Ford Leadership Scholar, but maybe they live in a community where one of the Ford Leadership Scholars were. And the fact that we empowered that young person to become an adult that took care of their community, that means they're taking care of my kid, my grandson, and I guess I value my role in that program for that reason.
And I think Ford Motor Company is always looking to put our best foot forward, and frankly to have an opportunity to get involved with kids like this at this stage of the game. I think it pays dividends in so many different ways. Hopefully they'll remember that Ford was there for them when they were growing up, when it's their turn to purchase a vehicle, for example. But more importantly than that, we're developing the youth.
What I really, really learned is that there's only really one answer at the end of the day. Did you make a difference or didn't you? Were you true to your purposes or were you not? And I can confidently say that this experience has made me more positive than I really have.
Well, I hope that first they look back fondly on the experience. Secondly, I hope that the skills and the experiences that they learn going through the program is still something they find useful in their day-to-day life. More importantly, what I would like to remind them is that Ford Motor Company, the Texas FFA, their mentors, their teachers, their parents, and their community have entrusted them with a great learning opportunity, and that we're really expecting them to live up to the challenge of being a Ford Leadership Scholar and to provide leadership and service to their community, to their business, to their state and their nation.
And Zig Ziglar always said, you go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you'll always be able to see a little bit further. I think we've seen the Ford Leadership Scholars Program grow into a very impressive leadership development, community servant program. But I think as the program continues to grow, I can see our Ford Leadership Scholar alumni beginning to do things maybe at the next level. I think that we probably see the potential of the Ford Leadership Program expanding, maybe not in terms of total members that are Ford Leadership Scholars, but maybe the program concept is expandable to local chapters. I always tell people, you don't have to be a Ford Leadership Scholar to practice the Ford Leadership Scholar leadership style. So maybe that's the future of the Ford Leadership Scholars Program, is it's not just the individuals that we pick, but maybe it's the philosophy that they share in communities across Texas.
I am truly excited about not only where the program has come, but what the future might look like for the Ford Leadership Scholar Program. Who knows where it's going to go with the involvement, the leadership, and the commitment from the foundation and the association and those involved with it, and also the commitment of the Texas Ford dealers. And with the great opportunity that we have to meet and to involve the students in the Texas FFA Association, it's going to be exciting to see where we go. And it's certainly a positive. I feel a lot of energy for the future of the Ford Leadership Scholar Program.
Thank you, Ford Motor Company and the Texas FFA.
Thank you, Ford Motor Company.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
These are people who really do give of their hearts. So thank you, Ford Motor Company, for being willing to invest with more than just time and money, but with yourselves as well.